Well, congratulate yourself if you made it to the end of another week. Jeff, I got an echo going on here. I don't know whether I'm doing something wrong or you are. There we go. That's a little bit better. Thank you so much. Congratulations. You made it to the end of another week of Bruce Hooley Shows. The weekend beckons. And double congratulations if you were caught in that mess today. Down around Obetz on I-270. Wow, that sounds awful. I'm used to that. I take 270 north to work every day, so feel bad for those of you down along Alum Creek Drive who had to sit in traffic for 30 minutes because of a crash. But hopefully your windows weren't down and you were able to get them closed if the rain came in, and hopefully you were able to get where you were going by that particular time. But nobody likes to start their day like that. Today, of course, we have more arguments being given in court in the trial of in the trial of Adam Coy, the former Columbus police officer accused of various crimes in the shooting death of Andre Hill. The other officer who was on scene that night will be testifying, and they will also have use of force experts testifying. This case is set up to really cause a lot of consternation in our community because of the way that laws are applied, if they are applied correctly by juries. And that is that a police officer does not have to be absolutely 100% sure that an object in a suspect's hand is a gun to have the officer firing a gun at the suspect be ruled a justifiable shooting. This is, of course, the way the law must be written, because we don't want our police officers to be sitting ducks in a shooting gallery. But I understand why the community would be upset, because it was proven that Andre Hill had in his hand a cell phone and a ring of keys in the dark at night, after reports came in that a man was loitering in the neighborhood for more than an hour. What does that mean? How cooperative was Andre Hill? We're never going to know, really, because the body cam footage on Officer Coy was not on at the time of their interactions prior to the shooting. So we will have more arguments, and the prosecution will present its case. And then after the prosecution is done, the defense will get to air its case. The jury will hear last, of course. You hear from both sides, but overwhelmingly you hear from the defense. And that's the way you would want it in a country where you have the presumption of innocence. You would want the case to be made freshest in the jury's mind from the side that is trying to get the person who is accused of the crime exonerated. I don't know how this is going to go. I do not know how this is going to go. I know that the family of Andre Hill has already been paid $10 million, but it's going to be a case that, of course, if it is ruled that the shooting is justified, it's going to roil the city, and there will be those, unfortunate but nevertheless true, that will use this as a demonstration of their own political agendas. And you, of course, know what those agendas are when the person who ends up dead in a confrontation with police is black and the police officer in question is white. It's just an unfortunate fact of life, and we have seen it become controversial all across our country, split our country, and really those kinds of interactions have played a lot into the political discord that we see now, as we are less than 2 weeks away from the presidential election. I'm thinking a lot about the election. I'm thinking a lot about the mood of the country in the aftermath of the election. I'm thinking about what the reaction will be to the election results if we know them on the night of the election or don't know them on the night of the election. I found today results from 2020. It's amazing to me how many states we did not have final tallies from within 24 hours of the final vote being cast last time. We did, of course, here in the state of Ohio, because we have a very effective Attorney General in Dave Yost and Secretary of State in Frank LaRose. We did not know within 5 days the official results from Nevada and Pennsylvania. We did not know for more than 5 days the results of the elections in North Carolina and Georgia. That's just unacceptable. In a country where we have technology theoretically second to none, and you might make the argument that there are others that are our equal in terms of technology, but certainly we don't take a back seat by very much to any other country, whether it's Taiwan, China, Russia, or who. But we have a really, really hard time coming up with the results of elections. Now, there are some states where we got the election results within 1 hour, and I don't know why that couldn't be the case all across the country, but it's not. And it is just another match, another barrel of gasoline, another incendiary truth that could lead to an explosive reaction to this election. My wife and I were chatting about this last night, and she said, "What do you think will happen after the election?" And I said, "Well, there won't be riots if Trump loses. There'll be widespread consternation and disappointment, and no doubt some accusations and all that." And she's not as sure about that. And I, as I think about it, I think that, unfortunately, might be the reaction. If Trump fans, the most ardent and certainly unstable of them, feel like this election was taken from him, and many people still feel like the 2020 election was taken from him. And I think I have serious questions about how the 2020 election was done, down from massive mail-in balloting, massive foot on the scale intrusion by Mark Zuckerberg and other Democratic operatives and non-governmental organizations funded by Democrats, funded by George Soros. I have serious questions about that. Oh, you get screamed at, you're tinfoil hat guy, you're conspiracy theorist, you're a nut job, you're crazy person. No, we're not. But hopefully Republicans are watching closer again this time, and we will not have that situation. And, I'm hoping for a decisive victory, because the polls seem to indicate that if there's going to be a decisive victory, it is going to be a decisive victory for Donald Trump, because the swing states, all 7 of them, right now have leads for Trump over Kamala Harris. It's tight. It's close. Most, if not all, are within the margin of error. But this, too, could be a possible reason why there's, whatever you think, rioting, unrest, all kinds of things happen. If Trump goes into this election still, a week from Tuesday, leading in every swing state poll, and loses 5 of the 7 swing states, and all 5 states are states with Democratic governors, how do you think that's going to land? So that's a long way of saying pray for our country. Pray for our country. Pray that we could somehow be able to come through this process where we don't have widespread unrest, riots, death, and all of those kinds of things. What happened this morning sure not going to help that. In Virginia, 10 minutes before I took to the air today, a federal judge has ordered the restoration of 1,600 people who were taken off the voter rolls in Virginia. Why were they taken off the voter rolls in Virginia? Because they're non-citizens. The state of Virginia went to court. Governor Glenn Youngkin, Attorney General Jason Miyares, to get these people off the voter rolls, and they were taken off the voter rolls. And so, of course, the Department of Justice, Biden's Justice Department, Merrick Garland, sued Virginia for taking illegal immigrants, not citizens, to me they're one and the same, off the voter rolls in Virginia. The Department of Justice did that. Is it legal to vote in the United States of America if you're not a citizen? No, it is not. Is it a federal crime? Yes, it is. But the Department of Justice is suing not to keep illegal voters off the rolls in Virginia. They're suing to put them back on. And this judge agreed with them. So they're back on. And they will not be time to have this adjudicated again and to have them taken off. So we know Virginia's going to start with 1,600 votes that are most likely going to heavily be stacked in favor of Democrats. Say, no big deal. Virginia's not a swing state. A lot of people think it is. A lot of people think it is a swing state. It could be one of those states that turns for Trump. And so I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that in Michigan, another swing state, Robert F. Kennedy will be on the ballot. Wait, I thought Robert F. Kennedy dropped off the ballot, Bruce. Yeah, he did drop off the ballot. He doesn't want to be on the ballot. You know who wants him on the ballot? Michigan Democrats. Michigan Democrats want him on the ballot. Oh, look at that, RFK. I thought he was off the ballot. I thought he dropped out. You know what? I still like RFK. I don't really like Trump. I don't want to vote for Kamala, but maybe I can just, register a protest vote here for RFK. It's a vote that doesn't count. But Democrats like that idea because the third party candidates who are legally and, appropriately on ballots in other states are Jill Stein, Cornel West, candidates who would steal votes from Democrats.
Clouds and warm this afternoon. Thunderstorm in the area. The high today 73. Partly sunny, breezy night tonight, low 45. Some clouds, then sun tomorrow. The high 63. Clear and chilly for tomorrow night, low 35. Sunday, sunshine, daytime high 60. A sunny, nice day on Monday. The high at 67. Sun and high clouds. A warmer day Tuesday. Breezy for the afternoon. The high on Tuesday at 75. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
The big wireless carriers want to limit you to two choices when it comes to data, unlimited or unlimited. And guess what? Both are stupidly expensive. Stop overpaying for data you'll never use. That's like paying for a pot of coffee when you only need a cup, or filling your entire truck bed full of gas when you only need a tank. With Pure Talk, my cell phone company, you get to choose how much data you actually want. Listen to this. For just $25 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 5 gigs of data, which is more than enough, plus a mobile hotspot. Stop overpaying for wireless. Get America's best 5G coverage with Pure Talk. Just grab your phone, dial pound 250, and when prompted, say the keyword Mike Gallagher. Pure Talk's USA-based customer service team will make switching so easy. There's no contract, no activation fee. You can even keep your phone and your number. Dial pound 250, and when prompted, just say the keyword Mike Gallagher, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month with Pure Talk.
Jerry enlisted in the U.S. Navy and deployed multiple times to Iraq and Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, Jerry was injured in a blast. He suffered a spinal cord injury, a traumatic brain injury, and more. Nothing can reverse the damage done to Jerry's body that day. But through the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, we can honor heroes like Jerry for their tremendous sacrifices. We understand the price of freedom, and we can choose to honor those who fight for it. Thanks to friends like you, Jerry and his family moved into a new smart home at the Foundation's Let Us Do Good Village in Florida, where he can live independently, thanks to specially adaptive technologies. Your donation now can change the lives of those who sacrifice for our communities and our country. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. And
leads our nation, but also
by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Cold weather is on the way. It's the perfect time to buy ski and snowboard gear. Come to the Aspen Ski and Board Last Chance Sale now through November 10th. All new arrivals of jackets, sweaters, pants, goggles, helmets, and accessories are 20% off, including Helly Hansen, North Face, Patagonia, and many more. Pick up new Carbon and Roxy clothing at 30% off. We have last year's clothing at 50 to 70% off. Buy ski and snowboard equipment at 40 to 70% off. Come to the Aspen Ski and Snowboard Last Chance Sale by November 10th on Polaris Parkway in Columbus.
I have not talked to you nearly enough or nearly often enough about the great deals in the Discount Shopping Club. But this one stood out, and I'm like, man, I got to tell my people about this one because It's no fun when your furnace goes out. When it goes out, you're desperate. You got to call around. You might have to wait a long time. What if I told you you could save like about $4,000 on a new 3-ton air conditioner and furnace? You can. Discount Shopping Club, courtesy of Temperature Pro Columbus, a Goodman 3-ton air conditioner and furnace. Goodman, a name you can trust, one of the biggest names in home cooling, heating, and energy efficiency. Well, it's there in the Discount Shopping Club. What do? You go to 989theanswer.com and click on shopping, and you will find it. Now, there are many savings to be had on this. It retails for almost $8,000 on sale for $39.99. Click on the Discount Shopping Club at 989theanswer.com. I was going to start this segment by saying that one of the issues that Kamala Harris dodges on, and then I realized she dodges on every issue. You can't say it that way, Bruce. But she definitely dodges on the border. I played you her 2-minute, as David Axelrod called it, word salad city answer to Anderson Cooper's questions about the border. Should I refresh people's memory, or is it too close to lunchtime? They might toss their own salads as they listen to this. Basically, the thrust of Anderson Cooper's questions were border numbers were way up. You guys canceled all of Trump's policies and the border numbers went way up. Then you said that Congress had to do something. Congress didn't do anything for 3.5 years. Then the election got close. And then you decided you would do your own executive orders to stem the numbers on the border, although really not, because they had this CBP One app where you can just fly in. And that's where they shunted all the immigrants who were coming across the border. The numbers really didn't go down that much when you count the ones who were flown in. And Cooper's question was, why couldn't you do both at the same time? Why couldn't you fight the good fight in the Congress, try to get the law changed, and then also at the same time do executive orders? It was pepper here, radish there, a little Parmesan cheese here, some croutons there. It was a word salad city response. Well, now we have new numbers. Now, we've never really gotten a definitive number. Remember, Brett Baer asked her, how many illegals would you say came across the border? Because Donald Trump says 20 million. Now he's up to 21 million. Other estimates I've seen range 10 million, 12 million. I've seen 15 million reported. Here's a number that jumped out at me today. 1.62 million. You say, wow, did that come right from Hunter Biden, or who did that come from? Nope. It came from the U.S. State Department. Now, it's just a sliver of the illegals. The U.S. State Department is acknowledging that 1.6 million illegal border crossers, and they report, the Center Square does, the total number at 14 million. But 1.62 million of those are from what the State Department terms countries of particular concern. How many different acronyms do we have for people coming across the border? We've got a terrorist number. We've got a terrorist acronym. We've got a this acronym, a that acronym. Now we have the CPCs. The CPCs are countries of particular concern. China, Cuba, Nicaragua, Russia, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, North Korea, Iran, Eritrea, blah, blah, blah. Okay, 1.6 million from these countries. These are countries that the State Department, that's Biden's State Department, deems particularly dangerous. Particularly dangerous. Do we have a breakdown? Yeah. 176,000 come from China. Highest number in U.S. history. 786,000 from Cuba. I'm sure none of them were criminals or crazy. 786,000 from Cuba, also highest number in U.S. history. 536,000 from Nicaragua. We're on a winning streak. That, too, is the highest number in U.S. history. And 127,000 from Russia. So, in case you forgot, That's also the highest number in U.S. history. 127,000 from Russia, 176,000 from China. That's 300,000 from Russia and China. Help me, class. Who are the two countries we're most worried about? Oh, you left out Iran, Bruce. Yeah, I did, but still, 300,000 from those two countries. So it is instructive to know that with all those exceedingly dangerous people in our country, it's exceedingly important to know Kamala Harris's answer when she was pressed last night on Telemundo about what her plans are for illegal immigrants currently in the United States of America.
Right now, we're talking about border security, and there's nobody, no Democrat, talking about pathway to citizenship, an immigration relief, and the benefits that migrants bring to this country.
Oh, but there's no question that migrants bring. America is a country that was built in part by immigrants.
People are concerned about their TPS, their DACA, we're talking about mass deportations.
Yes.
I'm not talking about.
What do you stand on mass deportations? What's your stand there?
We need smart, humane immigration policy in America that includes a pathway to citizenship.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. She gets in. She's going to do everything she can. And remember, you said, she won't have the Senate. Bernie Moreno's going to win. Dave McCormick might win in Pennsylvania, certainly. John Tester's going down in Montana. And Jim Justice is going to win in West Virginia. She'll never get that done, Bruce, because the Republicans will have the Senate. Maybe slim majority, maybe 4 or 5 majority. She'll never get that done. Really? Barack Obama did DACA for dreamers by executive order. By executive order. She will do this. This is who she is. This is why she won't answer any of the questions about immigration. I know there's also a possibility she won't answer because she's too stupid to answer it. That's also a possibility. But on immigration, believe me, she has a position. She just does not want to disclose that position. Because why? Bernie Sanders told you why. Because she's trying to get elected president. That's why. She doesn't want you to know what her position is. So this is where we're headed if she becomes the president. It's among a myriad reasons. It's among the myriad reasons why her presidency would be an utter catastrophic disaster. Because once you enact a bad federal program, good luck trying to get rid of it. Now, Republicans are bracing for the backlash that they will get if they start deporting illegal aliens. They have to have the backbone to persevere through that. Oh, there'll be kids holding on to their moms and dads and crying and this and that and the other. And you know what? There are going to be some cases where it's going to look really, really bad on film. But the fact of the matter is, when you have allowed over 10 million people into this country who did not come legally, there is no time for crocodile tears. There is no time for sympathy over these people who knew full well when they came in that they were doing so illegally.
With SRN News, I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. Election Day is November 5th, but early voting has taken off across the country. Nearly 30 million people have already cast their ballots in the presidential election. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are making their final pitches to voters as they head down the home stretch of this contest. Trump held a rally in Las Vegas last night and Harris campaigned in Georgia. Both candidates are making stops in Texas today. Progressive Democrats, they want Kamala Harris to change her campaign's closing message and to do so fast. Some liberal leaders in the wing of the party believe that she's been focused too much lately on winning over moderate Republicans. A Long Island Kmart store closed on Sunday, leaving one last Kmart on the U.S. mainland. It's located at the west end of the suburban Miami shopping center. This is SRN News.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-298-9534. That's 800-298-9534. 800-298-9534.
Dennis Prager here, inviting you to join me on a cruise to the Caribbean this November. I'll share fresh insights about our world today, all while soaking up a tropical Caribbean paradise with you. Call 855-565-5519 or PragerCruise.com.
I'm CPA Brad Hennebert with Premier Tax CPAs, and the true value of using a CPA is getting guidance throughout the year, not just at tax time. During the year, we can actively advise you on your financial and tax planning and other major business decisions, just like an outside CFO. Too often, when you see your accountant only at tax time, we're really only keeping score of what you did last year. We'll prepare a comprehensive tax plan to maximize your deductions and minimize the tax you pay, and present you with money-saving options you may not have ever considered. We'll update your financial position each quarter, so there are no nasty surprises at tax time. At Premier Tax CPAs, we like to have consultations with our clients throughout the year because important financial information is only useful if it's timely. At Premier Tax CPAs, we're a firm that can work with you and your business throughout the year to help you make decisions before it's too late. Give us a call at Premier Tax CPAs at 614-524-4888. That's 614-524-4888.
There are thousands of colleges that offer a quality education, but at Ohio Christian University, you're not just a student. You're part of a close-knit community dedicated to nurturing your academic and spiritual growth to unlock your God-given potential. Take the next step and visit our campus to experience the OCU difference with small class sizes and caring professors. Call 740-477-7701 or email enroll@ohiochristian.edu to register for our next preview day on October 24th.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
Touch base with a couple people in Delaware yesterday. Told you I was going to, regarding flooring, and cannot wait to get back with them. Also conferred with my friend Paul, who lives in Powell. Looking forward to serving you if you have a flooring need. It's not something that you're committed to when you reach out and go to brucehooley.com and click flooring in the upper right-hand corner of the page. All you're doing is investigating the possibility that I and my associates might be able to help you save money, get your product installed faster, get the exact same product you want. Love meeting you, and that's one of the ways that I get to interact with my listeners. It's an added bonus besides being able to serve you in that way. So if you're looking for a name brand carpet, if you want an indestructible, virtually so product like luxury vinyl plank flooring that looks like wood or looks like tile, go to brucehooley.com and click flooring in the upper right-hand corner of the page. brucehooley.com, flooring tab, upper right-hand corner of the page. Now, they stole my thunder a little bit at the bottom of the hour sale news update. They said that supporters of Kamala Harris are urging her to revamp her campaign message as the campaign comes to a close. And I thought, what, again? Revamp her message? Like, her message in this presidential campaign started out, Joe Biden is amazing. Joe Biden is so on top of it. Joe Biden runs circles around his staff. And then June 27th happened. And her response was, well, it was a bad debate, right? The high voice, the tell, lying, but nevertheless, she's going to stick by the jolting Joe Biden. And then finally, the Barack Obama Ginsu knife collection was plunged deep enough between Biden's shoulder blades by Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi that Biden tumbled off the cliff and Kamala got the call while making pancakes for her nieces. And then it was all hope and joy and new way forward and not going back and this, that, and the other. And then that didn't resonate. The Democratic National Convention did not give her a bump, even when she, I'll admit, performed far better than Trump in the first presidential debate, when he could have, if he had prepared or if he were eloquent enough to put together the facts of a campaign he should doggone well know, crush her like a grape. She still didn't go up in the polls. And now it's all about vote for me because Trump is a Nazi. Vote for me because Trump is a fascist. Vote for me because I know I don't have any answers to any questions, but I'm not Trump, right? I am not Trump. Here is a snippet of the theme Kamala Harris is sounding these days.
Donald Trump has become more confused, more unstable, and more angry. You see it every day. He has become increasingly unhinged.
He has become increasingly unhinged. Well, do we have any sound of anybody running for president sounding unhinged?
Should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States. Never again. Never again. Never again.
Now, there's a certain irony to Kamala Harris stealing from victims of the Holocaust their mantra, never again, when she would have no problem and has had no problem holding up Israel's attempt to punish Hamas for October the 7th, the second worst injustice unleashed upon the Jewish people. There's a certain irony in that. But how is this rating? Is this a fresh-faced new attack? Not really. Not really. Here's a story I found from the Washington Examiner written by Christopher Tremogel. He says, we may need to update the famous quote attributed to Benjamin Franklin. You know that quote, in this world, nothing is certain except death and taxes. He says, might be time to add Democrats labeling a Republican presidential candidate a fascist, something they have been doing for the better part of 60 years. He points out that in 1964, when Barry Goldwater was running for president against Lyndon Johnson, he was labeled an extreme fascist who would cause considerable harm to the country. Now, this was kind of a different sort of an attack on somebody like Goldwater, who had served as a pilot during World War II, likening a guy like that who actually fought the Nazis to being a Nazi. But it didn't stop Democratic Governor of California, Edmund Pat Brown, saying that Goldwater's convention speech had a stench of fascism. All we needed to hear was Heil Hitler. What was Governor Brown of California's extensive military background? None. He had no background at all. Oh, wait a minute. He wasn't the only one. Dr. Martin Luther King said of Goldwater's speech, I see dangerous signs of Hitlerism in the Goldwater campaign. Baseball legend Jackie Robinson said of Goldwater's speech, I would say that I now believe that I know how it felt to be a Jew in Hitler's Germany. So we're 1964, 60 years ago. All right. Any examples since? Well, just so happens that in the next presidential election in 1968, Hubert Humphrey, who was running as the Democratic nominee, said this about Richard Nixon. If the British had not fought in 1940, Hitler would have been in London. And if Democrats do not fight in 1968, Nixon will be in the White House. Of course, Nixon won, and then Nixon won again, and then Nixon resigned, and Gerald Ford took over. And in 1974, the American Civil Liberties Union criticized Ford for not putting Nixon in prison for resigning and said if Ford's principle had been the rule in Nuremberg, the Nazi leaders would have been let off, and only the people who carried out their schemes would have been tried. So, to recap, Goldwater is a Nazi, Nixon is a Nazi, and Gerald Ford is a Nazi. Is that where it ended? No. Ronald Reagan was called in 1980 by Representative William Clay, a Democrat from Missouri. He was called out. Mr. Clay, a Democrat from Missouri, said Reagan wanted to, quote, replace the Bill of Rights with fascist precepts lifted verbatim from Mein Kampf. You know, I saw the movie Reagan. That didn't come up in that movie. But at any rate, after Reagan, of course, we got George H.W. Bush. I don't know how he skated, but he was not called a Nazi, at least not according to this author. But his son, George W. Bush, was. The writer says there were so many examples of Bush being likened to Hitler, Nazis, and fascists that it was pointless to recount them all. Mitt Romney, 2012, was linked to Nazis and fascism. And so was Paul Ryan, his running mate. Paul Ryan was likened to Nazi filmmaker and propagandist Joseph Goebbels. So when you hear Trump called a Nazi by Democrats, just know that there is a long history of this on the Democratic side of the aisle, which Bill Hemmer pointed out this morning on Fox to Kevin McCarthy, former Speaker of the House.
Nixon, Ford, Reagan, Bush, Romney, Paul Ryan, and Donald Trump. Yeah, but if you listen to Democrats on the House floor, they have named every Republican. It's desperation. I mean, when you listen to the Hillary Clinton, it seems like she never got over losing the presidency. She's angry, and she'll always go to the other side. She's known to do this, but this is real desperation. I mean,
he mentioned Hillary Clinton. I don't want to demean the former First Lady. Let's see. What does Hillary have to say? Certainly she, of the deplorables comment, would never go down this road, would she?
One other thing that you'll see next week, Trump actually reenacting the Madison Square Garden rally in 1939. President Franklin Roosevelt was appalled that neo-Nazis, fascists in America were lining up to essentially pledge their support for the kind of government that they were seeing in Germany. A lot of others may think, I don't want to go there. I don't want to say that. But please open your eyes to the danger that this man poses to our country.
I wonder if Hillary, referring to that 1939 rally at Madison Square Garden, likening it to Trump, who sold out his rally at Madison Square Garden yesterday in less than 30 minutes. I wonder if Trump's rally will look anything like, oh, that's right, Joe Biden's speech in Philadelphia this past summer, a speech people have dubbed Dark Brandon that had red lighting behind it and 2 U.S. Marines back there.
Clouds and warm this afternoon. Thunderstorm in the area. The high today 73. Partly cloudy, breezy night tonight, low 45. Some clouds, then sun tomorrow. The high 63. Clear and chilly for tomorrow night, low 35. Sunday, sunshine, daytime high 60. A sunny, nice day on Monday. The high at 67. Sun and high clouds, a warmer day Tuesday, breezy for the afternoon.
Caller is upset about Merrick Garland allowing illegal immigrants to vote.
The answer.
Virginia.
All right.
This is an
who
urgent
is it?
announcement for anyone that's $10,000
You have a name
or more in debt.
Oh,
Before
no,
you make
he-
another
Oh, he
minimum
just,
payment,
he's not on.
you know there are
Okay.
special
Say that's the
programs
most
that can
important thing
completely
right now.
free you of
Yeah.
your debt.
Oh, I led with it.
Financial
That's why I led with
Freedom
it.
can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshares. Call now at 800-533-6605 for a free consultation. For 17 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands
thousands get out of debt. You can feel confident when calling because Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and a Christian-owned company. Don't get stuck in the endless cycle of payments. You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially reduce your monthly payments. Call Christian-owned Total Financial Freedom now at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605. 800-533-6605.
ProView Remodeling, Ohio's #1 choice in sunroofs, windows, doors, decks, sidings, patios, porches, basements, and bathroom remodels. Call ProView Remodeling today and get 25% off or 60 months, 0 interest. That's right, 60 months, 0 interest. Call or text 7 days a week, 614-756-3140. You win with ProView Remodeling, 614-756-3140. Check us out at ProViewRemodeling.com.
Feel like you're trying to push a boulder uphill wearing skates? If you run or manage a local business today, you're challenged like never before. We get it, and we want to help. We're Salem Surround, and when it comes to marketing, consider us your personal move you forward company. In a recent study, we found that 53% of local businesses were classified as novices when it came to designing, implementing, and managing their marketing needs. And that's where Salem Surround truly shines. We're a full-service marketing agency that'll help you increase your customer base by designing incredibly effective plans to reach your consumers day, night, and everywhere they might be. Let us give you an absolutely free audit of your current marketing and what your competition is doing. Our digital sales and support teams are the best in the industry and deliver customized personal service that's second to none.
If you're a local business and ready to take the next step, Google Salem Surround Columbus right now. Our experts are ready to help you take your marketing to the next level. Google Salem Surround Columbus today.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-298-9534. That's 800-298-9534. 800-298-9534.
This will allow you to get some of your holiday planning out of the way. Trans-Siberian Orchestra coming to Nationwide Arena. It seems like an annual thing. I think they're here almost every year, right after Christmas. And they're here this time after Christmas. December the 26th is the date. No, I'm not encouraging you to get your tickets early. I'm encouraging you to enter, to win your tickets early, because we have 10 pairs of tickets available at 989theanswer.com. Trans-Siberian Orchestra. The music's phenomenal. Then you get the lasers and all the other stuff for free. And now I hear that this story, the Lost Christmas Eve tour, even includes the audience in some of the pyrotechnics and some of the other technology that helps augment the show. What is the Lost Christmas Eve tour? Well, it's a story of a Gothic cathedral, a toy store, a blues bar, and all the inhabitants intertwined on a single Christmas Eve in New York City. So, TSO, Nationwide Arena, December the 26th. Win your tickets now at 989theanswer.com. Another case of the despicable activist judge in Ohio, the very inelegantly named Christian Jenkins of Hamilton County Common Pleas Court, yesterday essentially threw out the heartbeat bill. One activist judge in one of Ohio's 88 counties. He cited the ballot initiative that passed with 57% support in a state issue. And this is how these nonsense laws get into a state, Ohio, where the Republican Party does a crappy job getting the message out because we have an ineffective governor who hides, who doesn't do his job, who doesn't lead on issues like legalized gambling, marijuana, and abortion, and we get all three in a state where we have so many Republican legislators that they can override the governor when he stupidly does something like veto the SAFE Act that protects our women and protects our girls from boys in their locker room, men in their locker room, men in their bathrooms, and in their sports and private spaces. So issue one is a huge no, or we're going to have more of this Democratic workaround. They're going to finagle the districts ahead of time so that they predetermine the number of Democratic representatives. Your vote will essentially count for nothing because they'll have already aligned the districts so they can get more Democrats in the Ohio House and in the Ohio Senate. You say, well, that seems unfair. Yes! That's why you should vote no against it. And all the money that's coming in on this is coming from not just out of state, but out of the country. Jack Windsor's done amazing reporting on this at the Ohio Press Network. And you know how I know it's amazing reporting? Because the exact same reporting is on National Review this morning. That this Swedish billionaire is the one funding all this utter nonsense. Now, there's a law against it in the state of Ohio, but he gave the money before the law was enacted. But back to this activist judge in Cincinnati. We had a heartbeat bill that was in effect for about 3 months when Roe versus Wade was overturned. The heartbeat bill is the will of the people of the state of Ohio, that if a heartbeat is detected 6 weeks after conception, you cannot abort that child. And of course, we didn't show up at the polls. And I'm afraid, in Ohio this time, in the nation this time, it is said that as many as 30 million evangelicals will not vote. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Feel free, call, tell me, argue with me. Tell me I'm wrong. This is not, as I've said before, a choice between perfect and imperfect. It is a choice between horrible and better. And Trump is far, far better. 844-TALK-989 if you want to explain to me why you're an evangelical Christian and you will not vote and not take the opportunity to vote against unfettered, unchecked abortion and the sexual mutilation of children and the diminishing of women. I'd love to hear that biblical argument. Now, back to the fascism card that Democrats are trying to play. Does it seem odd to anyone else that the party warning about fascism on the Republican side of the aisle is also the party that is in favor of packing the Supreme Court, adding Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia so the Senate's balance of power will be shifted toward Democrats with what will certainly be 4 more Democratic Senate seats? Does it seem odd to anybody that the party being accused of being fascist and lawless, that the Democrats are the party that want to get rid of the Electoral College and get rid of the filibuster? Kamala Harris said that the other night. Seems odd to me. But of course, as I always tell you, Democrats are always doing what they accuse you of doing. Here's Tim Walz yesterday. Yeah, you forgot him, didn't you? I thought they dumped him off the ticket. What a horrible choice he was. This guy could be a heartbeat away from the presidency, by the way, evangelicals, if you don't go and vote. You know what policies he's enacted in Minnesota? You're a parent, you got a teenager, they want to have a sex change surgery. You have no say in the matter. None. They can take the kid away from you, and the child can have the surgery. That's Tim Walz's policy. He's lied about it because he knows it's unpopular, but that's his policy. Okay? So here's Tim Walz yesterday speaking in North Carolina.
Look, I don't say this lightly because I didn't, in my 60 damn years, I didn't think I'd ever see a candidate for president praising Adolf Hitler's generals or talking about using the military against their enemies. And I mean, it's pretty stunning. And I said, look, I recognize I'm on the top of his list, but don't kid yourself. You're somewhere on that list too if you disagree with these people. That's who they are.
Yes, if Donald Trump is elected on November the 5th, all of you who vote for Kamala Harris on November the 6th, you'll be asleep, maybe, I don't know, having dinner, something like that. You'll hear a whirring of helicopter blades, and suddenly in your backyard, there will be a Navy SEAL helicopter, and off you will go to Leavenworth. Because that happened all the time from 2017 to 2021. Happened all the time. It was never in the news, but it happened all the time. What a stupid thing for Tim Walz to say. But of course, stupid flows out of his mouth like water out of a faucet. Now, let's say, for instance, you were the governor of a state and a certain number of employees were working in businesses that were represented by a union, but they didn't want to belong to the union. And so they wanted right to work laws. They wanted the opportunity to work at an organization without having to join the union. I wonder what Tim Walz would say about a governor who said something like this.
We're not going to be satisfied for saying, oh, Minnesota will never be a right to work state. Well, that's a given. What Minnesota was going to do is strengthen our right to collectively bargain. Minnesota was going to ban that practice of having those captive anti-union meetings. You go to jail now if you do that in Minnesota because you can't intimidate people.
So you go to jail in Minnesota. Who's the governor up there? If you hold a meeting trying to advocate for right to work laws. Gee, I don't know. Anybody think of anybody in history that policy seems remotely like? How's this playing with swing voters? Mark Halpern is a political strategist. He had Pennsylvania swing voters on a Zoom call, and he asked them, how's the fascism card working for you?
I can't. I think part of the reason why I'm being pushed towards Trump so strongly is that I find that the Democrats and the left just keep going straight to Hitler all of the time with everything. Like it, and if it's not the left pushing Hitler, it's the right pushing Stalin. So it's like we're fighting World War II every single day for every single election. So it's so exhausting. I think it just detracts from, it pushes me away from their position, and it's so hyperbolic that it makes it impossible to have good discussions, and I think it ruins the discourse.
Does anybody think it's valuable or something you want to hear from the vice president? Anybody, raise your hand if you think this is something that's important for her to be talking about. Anybody?
Bueller. Anybody? Bueller? Anybody?
Wesley Financial Group is no longer. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll do it for hour number one. One more hour to go.
If you really want out of your
Always great to have you with us.
hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail
Congratulations to Stephen Vogt on being the AL Manager of the Year. I presume he will celebrate by pitching to John Carlos Stanton with first base open. Have a great week. See you later.